Thanks. Great. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining on a uh, Sunday morning, right? And very warm welcome for today's masterclass, Career Reset 2026, Transition to Data and AI Careers from any background, right? Great. Quick introduction about me, myself, Sabrish. I'm with AnalytixLabs for the last 7, 8 years now. Take care of counseling and admissions. You guys would have interacted with my team members across Gurgaon, Noida, or Bangalore, who would have invited you for this wonderful session. Great. Uh, so it's great to have all of you here. I'm just going through the kind of profiles that the kind of audience that we have for today's session, and I was surprised that we have equal amount of freshers, working professionals, and so many non people from non-technical background, right? Who want to actually understand how uh, probably AI is reshaping careers today. And honestly, this is the best time to understand it, right? Great. So, we all keep hearing about AI and nowadays Chat GPT, so many automations and new tools coming up every week. In fact, every day, right? But the real change is happening quietly in the background, right? In the way companies work, make decisions, and in fact, hire talents as well, right? Let me quickly give you a few examples how AI and data is already become part of our everyday, probably I would say business, right? Or everyday our lives. Right from if you talk about in hiring, AI now can screen resumes, shortlist profiles, and probably conduct few initial rounds with the candidates within seconds. In finance, in banking and finance, we have been seeing this from the last 2 decades. Now we can see that the predictive analytics or the predictive modeling, it can predict risks and help fraud in real time, right? That's a big move. Now in retail, AI is helping understand customer behavior and boosting sales as well. And healthcare and pharma, you can see it is speeding up diagnosis and improves personalized treatment ever than before, right? In the education sector, right? Uh, it's helping people to adapt lessons based on each student's performance. At least I'm seeing that happening in the 10th, 12th grade now, right? So a lot of things like this, right? In fact, in the entertainment world, right? If you see, everything is AI now. In fact, for people who joined this session uh, little earlier, you would have seen a song that has been played. Uh, Trust me, that song is completely composed by AI. Vocals are by AI. Lyrics is by AI. Can you believe that? That is the speed that we are heading, right? Now, this is not even future talk. This is happening right now, and it is creating a huge demand for people who know to work with data and AI tools. The best point is even at the beginner level, right? And the most important point is this: you don't need a technical background to start. Underline, yes, you don't need to be a technical background to start. The journey begins with simple tools like Excel, SQL, Power BI, then gradually moving into ML, AI, agentic AI, etc., for you to build confidence, right? What matters is curiosity, willingness, willingness to learn, and understanding how businesses use data to make business decisions, right? So, coming to the session, quick few points before we start. Uh, Today we have good number of audience joining in. Hence, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions to ask. And trust me, we will take up each and every question that is being posted. So we request you use Q&A option to post any dedicated questions that you have. And if it is relevant to that particular topic, the speaker will take it up then and then, or it will be parked towards the end. Use the chat option to interact with the speaker. In fact, if any questions are asked, you can interact. So use chat for that. And any dedicated questions you have, kindly put it in the Q&A, right? Great. So this is going to be a 90 minutes session. That is how we have planned. So I request everyone to stay till the end. We have good giveaways, right? So to guide us through this transformation, we have someone who has been leading the data and AI education space for over a decade. Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Sumit Bansal, co-founder CEO of AnalytixLabs and ScaleTricks.ai. With more than 18 years of experience in analytics and consulting, Sumit has worked with top firms like McKinsey, ZS Associates, Genpact, etc., before building one of India's leading learning platforms in data science, AI, and analytics. He has mentored thousands of students and working professionals from different backgrounds, helping them move into data careers confidently. And today, he is here to help you understand the same path. So let's get started. Please join me in welcoming Sumit. Over to you, Sumit. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Abrish, for the introduction. Very excited for the session. In fact, this topic over last 4 or 5 months has become very close to my heart because I see a lot of misconception, at the same time, lot of opportunity. So even for our students, for our corporate clients, this is a topic I try my best to give them more practical nuances, show them some practical things which will help them to understand that how AI is changing the landscape, what are the skills which are going to be relevant, what are the skills which have already become very less relevant now. So we'll deep dive into all that. uh, but for participants, guys, quickly I would want to share a little bit about my journey. So it has been 18 years now in the space of data analytics, data science, analytics consulting for me. I started my career when most of the analytics, data analysis used to be combination of Excel, SQL, and there used to be a software at that point of time, largest selling software in analytics, SPSS. Very few of you might have heard about it. Uh, but then soon, within 1 or 2 years, the world changed and there was another platform, another analytics software. It is still there, but less widely used now, SAS. That became world's largest selling software. Then came the era of open source platforms like R. Very quickly, world moved to Python as machine learning became very important. Why I'm saying so? Because what I have learned over last almost 2 decades, tools, platforms, they will come and go. Of course, AI is making very fundamental shifts how we work. But one thing which remains common across all these years is, as a data professional, as an analyst, our ability to think, our ability to put a problem solving mindset. Because no matter how good you are with some tools, how good you are in leveraging AI, but if it cannot help to answer business questions, it cannot help to solve business questions, then nothing is of use, right? So that is one of the things one of the key things today we would want to understand through a small case study. So I founded Analytics Labs 2000 in 2011. At that point of time, it was a side hobby project out of passion because I saw few students, MBA students, trying to learn analytics. They were struggling with it, and then suddenly clicked. We can actually do a very good job. That's how Analytics Lab started. But then after 2 3 years, I quickly made this as a full time thing for me. I at that point of time left my job with ZS. So it has been the journey since then, almost 15 years now, actually. So we have been always trying that courses, the programs we deliver, they should be practical. We kind of reverse engineer what industry is looking for and then design our courses. Uh, in fact, we had a latest industry report on AI skilling gap, which we just released 3 4 days back, this beginning of this month, I think. There are few learnings we have got firsthand from hiring managers, industry research, which I'll also try to share as part of the discussion today. So, what we are going to focus on, a very quick overview in terms of what industry is looking at, what are the some of the fears. 2024 2025 have these years have been marked by a lot of news of layoffs, especially with the tech companies, right? So we'll very quickly try to understand what's happening there. Then most importantly, how new and old skills are changing, right? Within analytics we have seen great deal of changes happening. Now let me share this thing in more detail, but very shortly. When about in 2022, Chat GPT came, people saw AI more commonly in public life, although AI was progressing at the backdrop with lot of industries, etc. But for a common person, Chat GPT was kind of a good preview of AI. But everyone thought that one day overnight, this is a picture many people try to draw, overnight jobs will be changed and AI will take jobs. It doesn't happen like that. The changes which happen at the back end. They happen sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but the impact on jobs we are seeing very clearly from late 2023 or predominantly from 2024. So that is one thing I would want to emphasize, that don't expect that suddenly you will see AI working in place of humans. That change is already happening if we look at the hiring trends and hiring numbers. So I'll throw more light on this. Then very specific, practical, tangible things what hiring managers are looking for. If you are planning to switch your career, what are the skills you should be looking at uh, in 2026? Then I also have a short case study where I will show how with AI a data analyst job changes. So a lot of things which data analysts used to do earlier, writing SQL, Python codes, etc. Uh, the importance of that skill of writing code is diminishing fast. The more importance is given to, can as a data analyst you think of right questions, right problems, uh, right analysis, which AI can actually do for you to answer some business questions. So I'll use a tool called Claude AI. Some of you might have already exposure to it. This is similar to ChatGPT, but in terms of analytical and creative work, it's better than ChatGPT. It is more capable for certain type of jobs like coding or analytics work, right? And we'll also try to understand key path, key tracks for people from tech, non-tech, freshers versus experience. What are the different roles and what you can take, right? And of course, Q&A during the session. Anything you would want to ask, please ping in the Q&A window. We'll take it at right point of time, maybe when that topic is being discussed, or towards the end. If any questions are not fitting the flow of the session, we'll take up all those questions towards the end. Fair enough. One caveat, one announcement I just got to know. There is unfortunately fire drill in my building in about 10-15 minutes from now. So I will be switching off my camera during that time and switching to my hotspot because electricity and some disruption is going to be there. So small, very, very small disruption. You will not get to know. I'll just switch my internet. But just FYI, for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, I go offline. So please bear with me. Sorry about it, but got to know about this just yesterday evening. All right. So even before we begin, very quickly, do we have any questions in the beginning? Okay. Harshit, some of the answers to your question automatically as part of the session you will learn, but we'll of course take it more upfront towards the end of the session. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So, as I said, there is a lot of hue and cry. If we look at like reports from very reputed publications, this is from World Economic Forum, where they are predicting there are 78 million new job opportunities in next 5 years, but urgent upskilling is needed because, as I said, and you will see soon it as part of this session, the nature of jobs are going to change. How we work today is not going to be the way. Then Anthropic, which is one of the leading AI companies, Claude AI is actually the product from Anthropic company. Uh, they are predicting 50% of white collar jobs in next 5 years will vanish. And when we actually see how AI is working and the kind of work it is doing, the work which was needed earlier, 50 hours of effort, can be now done in 10-20 hours, all thanks to AI. So, of course, lot of white collar jobs which were just repetitive clerical work, etc., they are going to be wiped off. In fact, last month I did a corporate training for one of the largest private banks in India for their specific department treasury function, which deals with forex exchange, etc., etc. So when they saw how AI is impacting and what it is capable of, a lot of work which they do as part of their day-to-day work in terms of analysis, forecasting, building up client profile, right, for B2B customers, etc. They were very, very surprised and, of course, slightly worried also. So, unlike past technology trends which had impact on blue collar jobs, after very long we are seeing impact on white collar jobs. So if your job profile is white collar but does not involve much creativity or it's a repetitive task, clerical task, it's a wake up call. You must really, really upskill. And then if we look at another very reputed tech reporter, Chris Wallace, uh, they are predicting about 300 million jobs will be replaced. Okay. Now, let's decode the reality. So, one side of the story, one side of industry is predicting huge displacement and replacement of jobs. But if we look at some recent hiring trends, 70% of companies still need data analysts to interpret contextual and make business sense out of those outputs. Gartner, if you do not know, is one of the most reputed consulting and research companies in the world. Similarly, if we look at LinkedIn job data, there is 40% increase year on year in job openings which are related to data and AI. But at the same time, if you ask any data analyst professional right now, they will say they have experienced slowdown in last 1 or 2 years. Right. So what's really happening? We are seeing demand at the same time, demand growing at the same time, but at the same time, there are job losses happening. So, any guess, anyone wants to share, what do you think is happening? What do you make out of this situation? Any sense you can draw from this situation? Anyone, guys? AI integration, okay. But if AI is taking jobs, why we are seeing increase in data related jobs or AI related jobs? Because LinkedIn data is hard data. You guys can actually also verify. If you look at the number of job postings on LinkedIn related to data and AI, there's actually very steep growth. What is happening, guys? Okay, let's probably understand it more with some more factual points. If we look at the recent fresh industry data, 2006, 2026, right? There is 30% year on year increase if we look at from 2020. Okay, now looks like a great number, but there are few more layers which, as a AI or data aspirant, we need to understand. In India, the expected number is 1 million professionals which are needed to work on AI. Okay, so some of the numbers I'm going to highlight. Current supply is almost 4 lakh 50,000 or 5 lakh professionals. So there is about 50 to 55% talent gap. This, everyone understands, translate to huge opportunity, right? And India very is very uniquely positioned. We have about 520 tech incubators, and out of total jobs which are posted in India, 17%, over 17% jobs need data analytics. And this is highest across the world. So if you see the job gap, the job demand is actually quite huge. So as I said in the beginning, why this topic is so close to me, there is very huge gap in the skill, at the same time huge demand. But this is a paradox. Out of 109, India ranks very poorly at almost 90, basically 89th position in terms of AI proficiency. So we have large numbers, but the proficiency is very low, right? The problem in industry which we see is not hiring or the job availability, it is the readiness to get those jobs. So even when people are learning AI, they are learning it very very superficially. They are learning very fancy basics of it, but very few people are actually learning the stuff which industry needs. Very few people are focusing on the stuff which will get them hired. Very few people are building those AI skills which are actually deployable, which industry can use, can be put in production. So this is the biggest opportunity, at the same time paradox. So we have large top line, but actual proficiency is very very low. So as I said, there is a silver lining. If someone who is serious with the right set of skills can make once in a lifetime opportunity, but at the same time there is so much of noise, so many courses which are just very very high level. In 10 hours they claim to teach you the whole AI, etc., those kind of stuff. Or even when you start learning, you are not focusing on the actual skills which will get you hired, right? Some more data points. people talk about freshers are not being hired, or let's say AI leadership roles are the problem. If I just look at the data from GCC, which means Global Capability Center, so all large MNCs, uh, Fortune 500 companies have actually presence in India, one or the other way, most of them, as global capability center, whether they are technology companies, whether they are consulting companies, whether they are companies like Google, uh, they are companies like Tesla. If they are not there, they are building their capability. And these are the sectors in which they are hiring. Okay. Now, if you see, even for fresher, there's 40% jump in hiring year on year. If we look at AI leadership roles, there is about 60% hike there, right? For senior roles also, the hiring growth is about 21%. You want to read more about all these stats and data? I have shared a link. It is also available on our website. You can search it, you will find it. But the point which I'm trying to make, there is a risk, there are job losses, but at the same time, there are opportunities if we focus on the right set of skills. Okay. Any questions before I talk about the skill side of it? Like what skills? Okay. Now, this is the challenge what is happening. Till now or till late 2024, most of the courses were focusing on BI visualization or these kind of skills. Sorry, one second. You see, most of the analytics courses, I can challenge you, even if you go and search for them, right, they will be having mostly these skills: learn Excel, learn SQL, learn Tableau, learn Power BI, right, learn Python, etc., etc. But actually these are the job roles which are impacted maximum. These job roles are oversupplied in industry. In fact, first time in my career of last 18 years, uh, after 2023 we started saturation and decline in this hiring. Okay. What is happening now, even the machine learning roles, etc., there is a declining demand. And most of the courses, most of the programs in industry are still focused on it. Few have changed, very few have changed. Now what is needed, these skills have become kind of foundational. You need to know, but you will not be hired based on these skills. What makes sense, that these skills, especially this skill, right, should be combined with these skills. That is what data analyst role or analytics roles is looking at. Okay, why I have marked these skills? These are the skills even non-tech background, uh, non-math background, etc., can do it. Of course, for tech background, there is a lot of opportunity and salary premium available for these roles. However, if you want to be hired in 2026, the skill you need to have is foundational, but will not get you hired. What I'm saying does not sound nice, may sound unpopular, but it's my job to tell you the real story about it, right? Combined with AI, Gen AI, and agentic AI type of skills. What are those skills? We'll talk about in more detail, but this is what is needed. This is what one should be focusing upon. So someone in the Q&A window just asked about why we haven't got Tableau, right? See, we are not packing our courses just by the terms or tools which sound fancy. We are packing our courses, designing our courses based on what will get you hired. Till 2022 or 23, we had Tableau. In fact, we were teaching Tableau from 2015 to 2022 or 23. When the demand moved from Tableau to Power BI, we changed our course and replaced Tableau with Power BI. Then even there are some cases students want Tableau. We have some support, some e-learning support, e-learning courses available. But the underlying point is very few jobs right now are looking for Tableau. Predominantly, jobs are looking for Power BI, and this is the underlying point. In 2024, by mid of 2024, we also combined Power BI, SQL, etc., along with these skills. So if you pick up our analytics browser, guys, am I audible?
Yes, Sumit, it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
you can continue.
Okay, so let me switch off my camera. Okay, so if you pick up our course brochure, and I'm not talking about 2024, sorry, 25, if you, even if you go back to 24, early days of 24, we started adding these skills because we saw the change which is happening, what hiring managers are asking for, what HR are talking to us about, right? Of course, by this year, the focus has increased a lot more on AI, on agentic AI, etc. The most flagship product which we have right now is actually combination of data analytics skills with agentic AI skills, right? So, but coming back to the main point, the market is not so simple to understand. Sometimes you will see hiring and firing. Sometimes you will see people talking about analytics hiring a slowdown, which is true. But at the same time, they are not talking about the full picture, or they do not have the full picture, that you have to drill down one or two levels deeper. You need to understand for which roles the hiring has slowed down, which are the skills which are still needed, what industry is still asking for. So I'll move to the next section, but any questions, guys? Okay, any questions very quickly? You can raise your hand also if you have not typed your question. Cool. Let's move to the next one then. So, very tangible thing which I want to talk about. What are the skills which are losing relevance? As I said, basic Python SQL skills. If you just learn how to write Python code, SQL
S-
code.
Sumit, a couple of them have raised their hands. Probably they want to ask question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was not able to. Okay, now I can see it. Yeah. Guys, please go ahead. Feel free to ask questions.
Arshit, you can ask a question if you have, please. Krishna Pandey, you can also ask a question if you have. I'm sure guys are able to hear. Okay, probably you can write your questions. Thanks, Sumit. You can continue. Yes, Sumit, you can continue.
I'm sorry, Sabrish, I missed the part. If you can repeat the question.
No, I think they couldn't ask some issues with their mic. So probably,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, you can continue, please.
Uh, Guys, feel free to type your question. We can happily come back to it. Okay. So, if the skill was more around, how to write Python code, how to write SQL code, and it is fine. Till couple of years back, these skills were helping to get you hired, right? But not anymore, because now the expectation is, okay, what will you do with it? If it can help you, but what will you do with it, right? What problem are you going to solve? What question are you going to answer? They are not going to ask you to write this Python code for me. In most of the interviews, they will give you a business problem and then ask, how will you solve this with Python? That is a kind of mindset we need now. Traditional machine learning roles, which used to be a hot cakes, like ML specialist, machine learning skills, etc., used to be hot cake till even post COVID, etc., till 2022. But these roles are also saturated. So I do not see anyone paying too much of attention to these skills rather than pay attention to Gen AI or agentic AI skills. uh, Business intelligence MIS roles, we have already spoken about it, right? There is a steep decline, and we expect this will go down. And when we work on the case study today, you will be able to see it very, very clearly that why this skill is first one to go down. Because in our case study, AI is going to do great deal of analysis or charts or graphs for us. Then big data, Hadoop, Spark, these used to be 10 years back highest paid professionals. I had people reaching out from US to hire or ask for these candidates. But these skills now have dropped. The adoption has gone down drastically. We have mostly talked about what skills are getting replaced or reduced in demand, right? But let's also talk about what is in demand. So, just to give you a glimpse of the roles which are in demand, one, AI enabled analyst, right? The first skill, first job you can acquire, what I am going to actually showcase along with the case study also, that as a data analyst, you understand Excel, you understand graphs, Python, etc. But can you do use AI to do that job better, faster, right? That is one important skill now. Prompt engineering, vibe coding. Uh, Even if I give same tool to five different people, the output they will get is going to be very different, because how you talk to AI will change a lot uh, how the output will look like. So the bank example I was talking about, in that workshop I had 70 people. The output across the workshop was so different, because how you prompt, how you talk, right, is going to be very, very different. This is again something I'm going to show you as part of our case study today. Then Gen AI product specialist. So even for someone who is not from analytics or data background, using generative tools has become very important. So even for creative jobs, Sabrish gave you an example of the song which was playing. It is an output of Gen AI. AI is generating music, lyrics, right? Videos for you. So, can you use a combination of generative AI tools, right, that can think and adapt? Then, decision intelligence consultants. These are the people who may come with, let's say, industry experience. Let's say someone comes from banking experience for last 10 years, 15 years, right? But now has developed expertise at how to use AI or data tools, and then can help the management or the business make smarter decisions. So they may not be able to write Python code, or they may be able to write Python code, but that is less important. But can they use AI tools to draw more meaningful insights and build strategy around it, right? And then a super duper hot cake in terms of the skills, agentic AI architects. So in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'll do one session on like a masterclass on agentic AI, where AI you will see has become enough intelligent to do certain things just like human, not in terms of answering or creating a song or something, but even to take action. For example, for an accounting department, it can actually work like an accountant. You send an invoice, it will check an invoice, right? And based on the invoice, if the all information is correct, all information is in place as needed, it will feed the invoice automatically for the processing, right? And if the invoice is incorrect, it will automatically reply on the email asking for the correct or updated details, right? So I'll be actually doing a workshop showing one example of this, but in short, where we use combination of AI tools, data pipelines to build an AI agent which is intelligent enough to work like a human and do the task which you would very most of you would be very surprised to see the proficiency and accuracy of that. Okay. Deepak, good question. No, is it's not sufficient, that's what I'm saying. So these are some learning Python, learning SQL is kind of a basic skill now, right? You need to have that skill, but it will not get you hired. What will get you hired? How you are using it? Can you use that in combination with AI? Earlier, if you it were taking you 8 hours to do a project using Python, now along with AI, can you do it in 2 hours? Okay, and these are some of the actual questions our clients have been asking. So there is another company I have, Scaletrix. We work mostly for US clients there. This year there are clients who are interviewing people because what they're expecting analyst or data scientists to do, that output they were delivering in 5 days, the project which used to take 2 months, right? Will they be able to use AI along with Python SQL to do that more error free in much lesser time? So this is something even clients are educated about. Okay. Once I'm not very sure if I understood question. Generative AI, can we go for? Once, yes, generative AI you should go for. But if you are an experienced professional, generative AI will give you a proficiency boost. Let's say the work which you're already doing, it will help you to stay relevant in that job. You will be able to do more work in lesser time with more accuracy, right? But if you are a fresher, then don't only go with generative AI. Along with generative AI, you will have to build some foundational skills which I just talked about while answering the Deepak's question. But again, you will understand this more as we work on a case study. Uh, so Harshita, there are number of use cases for government administrators based on, let's say, what is a job. If it is to, let's say, approve or reject some applications, scrutinize, let's say for an income tax department, GST department, they want to scrutinize certain businesses, right? AI can be used there. If the job is they have get got some applications, right? You want to analyze or reject or accept those applications, but rather than doing manually, you can do want to do it efficiently with AI with less human intensive, you can do that. If let's say for a district collector, for an government agency, they want to understand the funds which they have allocated to different pin codes to corporators. If they want to analyze if they are being misused, if there is any discrepancy, etc., AI can actually now do that work much faster and very easily. I hope government administrators have that intention to do it because there is so much of scope. In fact, very often I do talk about how governance can be improved drastically with the help of AI now. Shubham, one-to-one background profiles I'll take in some time. We have a section dedicated to it, so we'll jump to that. Okay, now let's look at what hiring managers are actually asking for. First thing is, when you are applying or you are at a learning stage, you must be working on some projects which are not like very simple, like a school, college, academic projects, but it should have certain complexity. Those projects are hosted on GitHub. Those projects can very well explain what was a business problem, how did you approach it, how did you solve it, and what was the outcome. So, a lot of times when we see students are saying they are applying but not getting response, but when we check their profile, their LinkedIn profiles, their CVs, their project portfolio, what they're doing is just have put SQL file, Python file, that's it. There is nothing which is describing the problem they are solving, what they are working on, right? How did they approach the problem? So that is one of the very, very basic requirements what hiring managers look for. Number two, you can analyze data, very good, but can you present that data? Can you present that analysis? In fact, now for last 2 years, we have made that as part of our job support program. We call it as PRP, Placement Readiness Program, where you are going to present your analysis, your case studies, because out of 10 companies, at least 7 companies do pay huge attention to this skill, that you have worked on analysis, you might have done very good job, but can you explain that? Can you present that to client, to internal stakeholders, to business leaders? And one skill we have already spoken about it now a couple of times, Gen AI fluency. Can you do your work faster and better by using AI tools now? Whether you want to take help from AI to write Python code for you, whether you have a very complex SQL query you want to AI help to simplify it, making it more proficient, can you do that? Because that is now an expectation. As I already mentioned, clients are actually asking us, based companies, they are asking for it. Is your analyst or data scientist going to work on this, or they are going to use these tools to do more work? For example, for some project, 3 different kind of roles or analysts. Now they're do the same work in much better way. Guys, give me just 1 second. I am switching my internet to normal Wi-Fi now. Okay, am I audible? Sabrish, am I audible now? Hello? Guys, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. Collaboration and communication, working with the team, coordination with the team, and business application and problem solving. As I said, you can learn Python SQL. You may have very good skills in writing Python SQL codes, very proficient codes, but if it does not solve the business problem, then it is not going to help. So, problem solving, right? Working in a team environment and basic skills at the time of application, like structured projects, you can explain your analysis well. You can also now leverage AI tools, are some of the requirements, I would say, not good to have skills, which is needed in this stage of the career, which especially when you're looking to transition or switch to a new job. Fair enough. Okay. Now, this is a slide I will talk about uh, towards the end, because what we want to focus on here is uh, some questions which are already in the Q&A window, that this is your background, or you are a fresher, or you are a non-tech background, then what skills are needed, how you can go about building those skills, etc. What I want to do now is work on a short case study. Okay. In this case study, you will see a practical example uh, where we have a data set and we will use Claude, as I mentioned in the beginning, to analyze that data step by step. Okay. And this is one case study which we will also share with you, and with the guide. Uh, like, for example, let me actually show that to you. So it will take a couple of minutes to start. In the meantime, I'll just show this data to you, which we are going to analyze. The reason I want to do this case study now, because we have spoken about the importance of problem solving, working with AI tools, etc. Right? How Python codes, SQL code, these skills are still important. But uh, with this case study, it will become much easier to relate to a lot of things which we have spoken about till now. Okay. So while the time Claude is warming up, I have a data set which has about 3,300 rows. Okay. This data set is about telecom customers from a telecom company, right? And the problem which we have got is we want to analyze why customers leave. So in my data, if you see, there are certain values marked in 1, certain values marked in 0, and the column name, if you say, says churn. So churn in e-commerce industry, telecom industry, banking industry means customer churn, whether customer is still continuing with our company or they have left using our services, etc. So there are some values which are marked as 1, lot of values are 0. 0 means these customers are still customer of this company. 1 means they have left and probably switched from one company to the other. For example, Airtel might have customer churn, and some of those customers may go to Jio, some might go to Vodafone, and vice versa. That Vodafone has some customer churn, they have gone and picked up Geo services, etc. And along with this, we have other variables like for how many weeks they have been a company's customer. For example, this means approximately 2.5, 3 years. Did they renew their contract? Did they have data plan on their number, right? What was their data usage in GBs, right? How many times they called up the customer care, okay? How many minutes they have used in last 30 days, number of calls, how what was their monthly bill, etc. This is in dollars. And what is the overage fee, etc. What is the additional charges, extra charges apart from their monthly bill they have incurred, and if they have used roaming bills, etc. These kind of information or data we have. Okay. Now, what I want to do originally, as part of a traditional method, we will first upload this data in SQL or Python and then work on it, right? Here I'm going to use Claude, and Claude has a lot of stuff which it can do for us. It can write code, right? It can actually have We can use different models within it based on the kind of requirement we have. We can also use it for very deep research work, right? Because but when we do very deep research work, sometimes it may take 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour to work on some stuff, etc. Given our work right now does not involve research, so I'm not enabling this feature. This is mostly for analytics purpose I have. So see, first thing is when we are working these tools, providing context is going to be very important. So even if you look at the case study, which we have here, it's a telecom case study. What is our objective? We want to understand why customers are leaving, customer churn, right? We want to understand if there are any variables or customer behavior which can indicate the customer may leave, identify who are the customers in future who may leave, right? Because from past data we can understand why are they leaving. We can build a predictive model to understand which customers in future may leave, right? And accordingly build some retention strategy, that is to retain the customers. Very simple example. I'm going to do certain steps on the fly, but I have also created a small guide. This is what we are going to also share it with you along with the data so that you can explore. You can try the method which I'm going to do. You can try the method at your end to understand things better, what works, what doesn't work, etc. But as I said, our key value add is going to be ask the right questions, provide business context, and interpret the results based on which we make certain decisions. So why, what, is it correct, etc., that is our human job, and AI can assist us in doing rest of the work. Okay. Okay. So please see some part of the prompt I'm just copying in interest of time, but think as a data analyst. And what I'm asking for, that I'm giving this data, it has these columns. Even if I don't provide it, it will be able to read and also make sense of these columns. Okay. In fact, if you, I would want to show that the level of intelligence it has. I'm not giving this detail also, still it will be able to make it. So I'm asking some very, very basic stuff right now. One, load the data, calculate the churn rate, that is what percentage of customers leave, calculate some basic summary statistics, check missing values if the data has some missing values, right? And also Python code. This is just to give you a preview. These are some very basic stuffs. We will do some more advanced stuff also. So what I'm asking it to do right now is this. So if you try to do same thing in ChatGPT, it will work faster than this. However, ChatGPT is also very good, but for analytical task, etc., this is better. For creative task, this is better. It will feel little slow, but the quality, the output, etc., is going to be much more detailed. Okay. So for example, now it has given me very basic information that these are the number of customers, how many columns we have, 11 columns we have. Data type is numerical. It has given me column names automatically because I said it will be very easily to understand. Out of total, how many customers churn? Around 14.5% customers churn, that it has calculated. Okay. Then there are few more details for each of these variables. What is a mean value? What is a standard deviation? min max etc etc etc. ठीक है. Now I'm asking for Python code. Show first 5 rows with variable meanings and then Python code. So what it has done, first it has given me what is the meaning of each variable, right? If you say this, I did not tell it, I explained this to you that this variable means 1 means customer has left, 0 means customer has stayed it still with the company, number of weeks the account is active, all that. So like a 2 3 year, at least 2 3 years experienced analyst, it is able to understand that what this data means. Of course, you need to be sure that what it is telling you is correct. Okay, what information it is providing is making sense. That is your job. You cannot 100% blindly rely upon it is providing. Okay, now this is also showing me the top 5 values for just to understand how data looks like. This is all very basic stuff. The main fun will start in some time. Now, what I'm asking for, if you see my question or my ask, this is as a data analyst, you need to know. I'm I can't ask it like analyze this data for me. I'm asking analyze the churn rate by people who renewed the contract or by people who have data plan or not. Okay, for customer service calls, if they made 0 calls, if they made 2 3 calls, if we made 4 calls, why? Because as a data analyst, I need to have this insight that if customer is making too many customer calls, that means they had some complaint, they had some problem, which may mean they had dissatisfaction with the service, right? So it is analyzing for me, but what I'm asking it to analyze, that is a very important job which data analyst has got now, because AI is doing for you, but you have to tell what it should do. Give me the analysis. I'm also asking for as graphs or charts, also the Python code. So earlier, there would be a job role, a lot of job roles where the skill was someone is going to tell you this and you can write Python code to do this analysis. Now the thing has flipped. There are going to be very few jobs where you are getting hired because you can write Python code. Because no, now you will be hired if you can understand the business problem, you can make a plan what should be analyzed, right? And use AI tool to do that analysis. So if you see, we'll see the output very soon. The output is going to be very good. And trust me, if I give this job to an analyst, based on the experience level, it may take 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours also to do this job. So first it has analyzed the data by each segment. Okay. I have also got the Python code. It has also given me the graph that people who do not renew, 42% of them churn, which is not surprising. But the most interesting thing, if you see here, is this analysis. Which one? This one. Customer rate customer churn by customer service calls. People who have made 0 to 1 calls less churn, 2 to 3 calls less churn. But people who have made more than 4 calls, right? More than 50% of those customers churn. So, what is your job? Are you asking right questions? Are you asking for the right analysis? Okay. And the results which you are getting, you should be able to read and understand that. I totally understand some of you may not be able to fully understand the analysis yet, but this is what you learn in the course, that how this makes sense, what is it telling us, etc. And why this Python code may or may not be needed, because let's say you want to later on replicate this analysis for larger data set, which Claude may not be able to do it by itself. You are using Claude to make the analysis plan using a small sample, but later on you would want to analyze it with thousands of rows, lakhs of rows. There again, direct Python make me more sense. Any questions till now? Because gradually I would want to show some advanced capabilities also. But any questions you have right now? Okay. This is another basic stuff right now. I am going to post this jump to advanced stuff, right? But let me show you basic stuff. I said we found customers with 4 plus service calls have around 52% churn. 52% of the customers leave. Now I'm asking for more deep dive into this. What is the distribution of these customer calls? Customers who made more than 4 calls, how much was the monthly bill, right? Other parameters. I have an hypothesis. Are they calling because of billing issues or there are any other issues? Correct? Now, again, AI is doing all this analysis, but it is my job to know what I have to analyze and how to ask those questions. So let's see the question window while this is going on. Uh, so one question from Shubham in the meantime, how important are the skills such as prompt engineering, AI, etc.? See, Shubham, not everyone would need. Sorry, one second. Let me clear this thing. Not everyone would need uh, AI governance, etc. These are going to be some specialized skills, right? Domain expertise is important, but as a fresher, you may not have domain expertise. You will build over a period of time. Okay. But when it comes to using prompt engineering and some understanding of using AI, responsible AI, this is now mandatory skill to get hired into data and AI roles. As I said, traditional programming skills are kind of a hygiene factor, but very few jobs, only 30-20% jobs. And this number is going to keep reducing as we have discussed in past. But most of the jobs would need that you know programming skills, right? You know Python, etc. You know uh, SQL, etc. But you can use AI tools to do that work. Okay, while the analysis is going on, uh, there is another question from Shri Hari. Uh, just for others, RPA, working as a RPA is robotic process automation. So Shri Hari, it is very, very obvious and natural step for you to now learn agentic AI. You can think of this way: agentic AI is like an intelligent RPA. In RPA, a lot of things you do rule based, etc. Right? But for anyone who is in RPA role, agentic AI skills are no brainer, and in fact, they are must as part of your upskilling to stay relevant and proceed forward. So prompt engineering, I'm very sure you would be doing it, but from full-fledged career transition point of view, agentic AI skills are must for anyone in RPA, undoubtedly. Okay, this I think is taking longer because we have asked a lot of things and analysis. Let's see how much of it is done. We can get some sense of it based on how much code it has written, what is the code. So it is on our third question where we asked for the hypothesis. In fact, fourth question. It is testing the hypothesis statistically for us. I think in another few seconds we will have our answer. So what it is working on, I can see it from this. Already analysis is done. Backend it is doing Python only. Now it is a step two where it is building a thought process and analysis for us. Any more questions which we can answer at the moment? Once, yes, as part of our course, we do prompt engineering. As I said, for us, this became an important skill even way back, about 1.5 years back. Okay, so guys, this is what it is happening. It is telling me billing hypothesis is rejected because why? It analyze the data statistically. You see a lot of graphs are already populated for us, and it found out that people who made multiple calls didn't have any extra overage or extra bills to be paid. Okay, so what it is doing at the back end is some statistical analysis which I'm not going into right now because again you do not have most of us may not have statistical knowledge, don't want to confuse, but just want to give you a preview what is happening at the back end. So it used Python at the backend. We can get all that code if we want right now, but it calculated some hypothesis. It calculated correlation analysis. It found out that statistically it is not significant, right? It rejected the hypothesis. We thought people who are calling customer service multiple times, more than 4 times, are calling maybe because the billing is higher. However, if you see, the monthly billing is somewhat similar. It's marginally lower, but statistically, this will be called same. Okay. Any overage fee, this is also same. Now, what it is telling us that billing is not the problem. We should check for other issues. Okay. Dropped calls, poor coverage, device problem. They had some problem and it is not sorted. Unresolved complaints is frustrating them, right? They have some plan, some features in their plan. They have confusion. They're not understanding it. So it is giving us some recommendations that we should understand why they're calling us, flag the customer. If the customer has to call third time, escalate that to senior or senior customer executives, right? Fix the issues step by step. What it has done, it has actually created a Python script also for us to do. I was talking about some statistical analysis, so correlation is one. There is something called t-test. This is something you learn as part of your analysis skills, right? So all that automatically is done at the back end. What we had to do, ask for the right question, understand the output, interpret that output if it is making sense, and then accordingly, what could be my next question to it. Now, we cannot really solve the full case study because it takes time. That's why I'm going to share this guide also with you. Okay. I'm also going to share this data set because we want this thing to be done. But I'm running one analysis which it may run at the back end, and we may come back to this analysis in some time. But the analysis which I'm asking to build is actually a statistical predictive modeling. So it is going to use a statistical model, which is a logistic regression based model. Again, you learn as part of your data analyst skills. Then I am also asking for a machine learning model. So it can build a full-fledged machine learning model also for you. Then I'm asking for some summary statistics because these are the statistics as predictive model. We need to evaluate how good or bad is that model. Okay. And some few more graphs related to again the model performance. And this means which variable or which data point can help us to predict that customer is going to leave. So feature importance means ranking, which is the most important. I'm asking it to use sklearn. Sklearn is a Python library used for predictive modeling and machine learning. Okay. Again, as an analyst, I just need to know what has to be done, right? Asking my AI tool to do it for me. And once the result will be ready, interpret it. So I'm going to run this because it's going to take some time. It's not going to run super fast. We'll discuss some other stuff, right? And again, towards the end, we'll come back to understand and see the level of output, the level of analysis an AI tool can do for me. And please remember, this is not a AI tool which is, let's say, super expensive, super fast right now. For this case study, the version I'm using is a $20 per month version, right? There are more advanced enterprise versions which can do the work a lot more and lot more better for you, including connecting with your cloud data storage, etc., etc. Anyway, let it run at the back end. But again, we will be sharing this with you. The idea is you explore it, you try to work on it. We'll also share a kind of a example prompt guide, like how you should prompt, what you should write, the importance of context, the importance of uh, assigning a role to the model. Because in the beginning, if you remember, I asked it to think as a data analyst. So that context about your problem is going to be very, very important. Okay, coming back to our discussion and questions, let's see what are the more questions we have right now. Okay, so this is where I left. See, this is a common question, and which we see right now also people asking us, that I am from technology background, I am from a non-tech background, I have experience, I am fresher, what etc. should be the path. So please first try to understand Data careers, analytics careers is combination of multiple things. You need business skills, you need tech skills, and you need analytic skills. So there are very few people who are good in all three. If you are a fresher, okay, from technology background, or if you have, let's say, 4 or 5 years experience from technology background, you can very well take this route where the skills will be around data engineering, AI engineering, agentic AI. We spoke about someone who is already working in RPA, right? Database, cloud engineering, they can pick up these kind of roles. Someone is coming from computer science background, electronics engineering background, or any circuit branches engineering background, they can take this route. If you are a fresher but non-tech background, right, you can take this route. Why? The skills you will focus on is data mining and visualization, okay, Gen AI skills and Gen AI solutions, statistical analysis, uh, kind of analysis which Claude is doing for me, but right now you do not understand what it is doing. Once you have these skills, you will be able to understand what is doing. You will be able to interpret it, whether it's right or wrong, what should be the next step, and how to fine tune that analysis, and then move to agentic AI systems. Okay. If you are someone who is experienced, right, comes with 5, 10, 15 years of experience, please remember domain experience is very important. Even people who may join as a fresher, eventually over 2, 3, 4 years experience will have to gain some domain experience. But people who are coming with domain experience, this is the edge they have. They can understand the business inputs, they can lead AI led implementation, that what has to be done from business point of view. Now how to do that using AI and data is the value add. And if you do something but it does not deliver business value, that is of going to be no use. So even for people who are coming from experience, banking, sales, marketing, this combined with analytic skills would be your path to career in analytics. So not everyone has to be a data scientist, not everyone has to be an AI engineer. They are managerial roles, they are consulting roles, they are leadership roles which you can very comfortably target. So as you will grow, you will build spike in one or two or three skills, right? But in the beginning, when you're transitioning your career, when you're changing your career, you, based on your background, you will take one of these routes and gradually build the expertise on the second one. So this is something which is very, very important to understand, because everything cannot be seen as a single thing. Everything cannot be seen as a same role. As we discussed, there are multiple roles. Some roles are going out of demand, some are picking in demand. Who you are, fresher, experienced, tech, non-tech, there are all type of roles and the skills to be focused on, right? I'll take a pause here. Any questions you have? Anything you would want me to explain more on these lines?
Smith, there is a
Uh,
question from
yeah,
Joel. I'll read it out.
sure.
Smith, the predictive analytics case study you just showed was very interesting. Now, my question is if everything can be done by Gen AI tools like Claude, etc.,
Hmm.
why will anyone hire us? Why will anyone hire an analyst or
Hmm.
even a data scientist to
Hmm.
do the
Hmm.
same work?
Yeah, yeah.
Also, is this also what people are talking about, vibe coding?
So, okay, multiple parts to the question. Let's take one by one. See, if you see what we have done here, AI was able to do a lot of work for us, right? In fact, what we asked to do, it has done. It has also given me all the graphs and numbers, those tables, etc. Also, confusion metrics, etc. Right? This is confusion metrics. It has also given me Python code, etc., etc. Right? However, as I have been mentioning, who will ask these questions? Who will give this context to the AI tool? Who will read this analysis, whether it is correct or not correct? Trust me, AI tools may sound super confident, but they may make mistakes, and 10-20% times they make mistake, and sometimes those mistakes can prove very critical. So understanding the business context, feeding that information to the AI tools, okay, then step by step ask the right questions, interpret the output, and help business to implement that output. That is where data professionals, data analysts, data scientists would be needed. Point number one. Point number two. Right now, we did this small case study for understanding on very small sample of 3000 customers, 3300 something customers. In real world, this will be done on hundreds of thousands of customers in Amazon type company, in Uber type company, Netflix type company. In a large bank, you will have lakhs of data points. This AI tool directly will not be able to handle. This AI tool will would have given you the whole analysis, the Python code, etc. You will still be needed again, AI assisted, to build this at a production level, at an enterprise level, right? So what I mentioned at multiple places, even for this case study, AI assisted analysis, okay, even for the discussion we were having earlier, that is what I mentioned here. AI assisted, AI enabled analyst. The difference is the output which was taking 5 days, now they will expect you are giving in 1 or 2 days. Okay. So that's why data professionals would be needed. Okay. One part of the question. And we are also seeing this because if you see this is the number, latest number from industry, right? The hiring is happening for these roles and at very high rate of adoption. Number two, vibe coding is similar. Okay. Vibe coding, you can also call this as vibe coding. In a way, I am generating Python code, but vibe coding is actually different. If you we go back to the this part, it basic when I started, it asked me if I want to generate code. So if I have to build an application, if I want to build an app, okay, and I do not know the full code, that is where we will use vibe coding. So vibe coding is similar. In fact, when I do a masterclass on agentic AI, I would show an example of vibe coding. We in Scaletics we build a product. We were planning to hire a full stack engineer for it, a developer for it. Then we realized we do not need a full stack developer because full stack developer will just write the code. We already have data analyst, data scientist who understand the business context. They can use vibe coding to write the code. So again, the point I'm trying to underline here is the importance of mindset which can problem solve, which can think, right? Which can connect data and business outcome. That is the skill you need to build on. So you will be hired if you have that skill. You will not be hired if your skill is just writing the Python or SQL code. That's the key thing. So if you see, I mentioned we has as part of our learning, we do have placement readiness module, PRP. In PRP, we are focusing on certain elements where you will actually get some exposure in terms of how interview process happens in a company. Let's say there will be a full day, there will be multiple round of interviews, one or two rounds of presentations, pretty much like real. You will also interact with some industry experts. These are the people who hire for their companies. They will share their experience, what they look for when they hire. Okay, this is all part of hiring process. This like profile building, etc. You will be given real industry problem where will work in small groups. You will also have to present your analysis and project, right? So if you see the overall approach which we are taking, it's not like a typical, I would say now, outdated approach that you learn Excel, you learn SQL, you learn Python, and then you put your resume and then look for job. We right from the beginning, even 10 years back, had this approach that application of tools and interpretation of the data is very important. But with AI, our focus has become very, very heavily on these aspects. So you are absolutely right. If you are concerned, why would they hire you? If you are learning just Python SQL because AI Cloud can do you, they will hire you if you can understand the data connected to the business problem. You can use these tools to write those Python code for you faster and deploy that code for larger data set at enterprise level or a whole organization level. So that's the point which you must understand. And that's why all three domains, all three sides are important. So you cannot just say that I will do all three. That's not practically possible in the beginning. You cannot be someone who has 15, 20 years of experience. Now you want to be a data scientist. No, that's not going to happen in most of the cases. So that clarity is needed based on your education background, strength, experience or no experience. Will you take this route? Will you take this route or will you take this route? Okay, there were a bunch of more questions. Let's see if they are still unanswered. Okay. Uh, Sabrish, any questions in the chat which I have missed?
Follow up that question, Sumit. What is this vibe coding?
No, as I said, this is not vibe coding. Vibe coding is similar to it. Vibe coding actually needs a different approach. In vibe coding, you are basically, let's say, as I said, you want to build an app, you want to build a website, right? You are explaining the tool that I want to build website. This is what it should look like. These are the features it should have. Based on that, the code it will generate, and using that code, in fact the app it will generate is called vibe coding. As I said, stay tuned. I'll be doing one class on agentic and vibe coding. There you will be able to understand this much better. But yeah, that's not vibe coding. So for vibe coding, you see this is a code tool within Claude which can help us to write the coding. So most of these tools now have inbuilt facility to code for us. So vibe coding is basically I am able to explain the requirements in correct way, in correct sequence, so that my AI tool is not confused and it is able to generate the required app, required code, which is practically usable. Because out of 10 people who do vibe coding, 8 or 9 fail miserably because the output which these tools generate are either only good for, let's say, school type fancy projects to put on your CV. But if you are looking for solving real business problems, then the prompt engineering is very important for vibe coding. As you saw in this case study, at what stage, what input I am giving, in what sequence I am asking the questions, I am putting the question at right stage in right manner. So even in vibe coding, that is going to be important. So that's what I am saying. There is some similarity, but vibe coding objective is to build an app or website or a full-fledged production code out of it. Okay, so Mannat has this question. This is pending, Mannat, but I think this question should be answered by now. Uh, what is the future of data analytics, or we should do in proper domain? We should definitely do in proper domain, because when you will learn our courses, so any of the courses which we do, there are 3 4 domains and case studies we anyway do. For example, you will get exposure to banking, marketing, customer service, customer operations, right? Healthcare. So, as part of the course, 4 5 domains where hiring happens mostly, you will get exposure to those domains. So, domain is important. That's why a basic level of domain understanding we try to cover as part of our course itself. And sometimes while they are looking for job, students want more practice case studies. All our final projects and course case studies will be connected to one or the other domain. For example, if you have worked on a telecom case study, churn analysis in telecom, right? You get some exposure about telecom, but at the same time, those skills can be applied to credit card industry also for similar problem. That skill, that understanding, that thought process can also be applied to e-commerce industry, because some of these business problems are same across. So domain, as I said, is very important. uh, as you will gain experience, it will become extremely important, but at this stage we try to give you at least minimum exposure to 3 4 domains through which hiring happens most of the time, and time to time we also update those projects or case studies to match where the hiring is coming from. Okay, there was one more question, and I think from Mannat only. Future of, we have talked about. The other question is, I heard that people who already have knowledge in data analytics have a good career. People who pursue in 2026 may not be having that much. Manat, that's exactly the point we are talking about. Because most of the people, most of the institutes, most of the mentors are still stuck in the traditional data analytics. They are failing to see the change in hiring patterns, right? They are failing to see what we have, most of them, not all of them, what we have spoken about here. That hiring is there, but you cannot learn the data analytics the way you were learning till 2023 or even in 2024. The approach to learn data skills, the approach to learn analytics skills now has to change. So if you are combining the foundational skills, okay, and in some cases some people may need this also, not everyone, with these skills, this one, this one, and this one, this is the way to go. So guys, this is a case study, this is an industry report, and as I said, we have been tracking this very very closely for last 1 2 years. In fact, the previous industry report also we had was on the topic of AI, Gen AI. I would highly suggest that if you are keenly tracking this field, download this report, okay? Read this in detail. We have given every fact with the sources and why the traditional data analytics skills are changing and what needs to be done. In fact, in the beginning of the year also, basically this is the end of the last year and then beginning of the year also, we were tracking these changes in the job track. Based on that, we were also making some uh, changes in the courses, but we were actually very surprised and happy when we saw the industry changes by the time this report was published, because at our end we had already made lot of those changes in the courses earlier this year. So, yes, traditional analytics skills, traditional analytics learning will not work. If you're doing that, 2026 may not be lucrative. But if you are focusing on changes which are needed, then of course, there is a great deal of opportunity as we have discussed, how hiring is picking up and across different sectors and different domains. Okay. I'll quickly go back to this part where we were doing the analysis. Okay. So if you see here, we asked it to create a predictive model. Okay. And also give us model performance comparison. We asked for two different models. So if you see, the blue one is logistic regression model. You can say it's a very basic machine learning model or more like a statistical analysis model. Green is a machine learning model. So it has compared built two models, compared it side by side, given me all the stats for that. But can you read this? Can you make a conclusion which model is better than the other? Can you suggest that for if we are just looking for answers, that who are the customers who are leaving, why they are leaving, this model is better? If we want to build an automated engine which raises an escalation before customer leaves, then which model is better? That is a job as a data analyst, as a data scientist, which you need now, right? So again, going back to the question, why will they hire you? They will hire to make these decisions. Again, detailed Python code is there for logistic regression, also for random forest also. The basic step before these models, they are common. How you prepare the data to build these models, that is common. Then evaluation of all these models side by side. Great. Okay. Please let me know if you have more questions on this output, anything you want to understand more. There is one question. Okay, Sabrish has already answered regarding STEM. So, guys, for everyone's understanding, STEM we have mentioned here means science, tech, engineering, maths background. So, in a brute way, we can call it tech. But even if you're coming from, let's say, statistics background, if you're coming from MSc background, right, that also according to us is a kind of tech background. So we have bifurcated courses based on tech, non-tech, and based on hiring changes which are happening across the industry. uh, I'll stop now. Sabrish, if you have any specific points to discuss here or anything else as a closure you want to address.
Yes, Sumit. So there are a lot of questions on placement guarantee and more of how the placement works. So you want to take it up or should I?
No, sure, I'll take it up.
Yeah.
So, guys, there are multiple things as part of the placement. One is right from the beginning, as I mentioned, we do not launch courses based on the fancy terms, jazzy terms, which are in focus, right? Which everyone is talking about. Right from the beginning, we make the course based on what companies are hiring for. We do our very deep due diligence. We also learn about this through corporate trainings we do. We also get to know about these are ex students who come to us to hire for their teams. We also get to know this from the hiring managers or HR. Number one. Number two, throughout the course, as I mentioned, there are multiple things we are adding time to time. In fact, my team is fed up of me because every 3 months, 6 months, based on the rapid changes in industry, we are making some changes in the course. Uh, if you look at the approach post your certification, post your course completion, one, we have a dedicated module called placement readiness module, where apart from the skills you have learned, we are also focusing on gearing you up for real world exposure. Like there will be mock interview days, there will be presentation rounds, right? You will get guidance on soft skills. Of course you have to work on it at your end, but are you doing it right? From where you can do it, right? All that kind of help you will be getting. And also the live project experience in terms of working on real industry problem in small groups to collaborate and communicate. All that part we are taking care of. And time to time, if there are some new topics which have emerged but which was not originally part of the course, because for example you start learning now, and depending on the course you pick, it may take 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. We do not wait that this was not there. We will also introduce some new topics if we think that these are now needed from jobs point of view. For people, for example, people who started our course in 2023 late, by the time they reached the placement pool, these things at that point of time in 2022-23 were not there as part of the course, right? So by the time they reached PRP, we started some sessions, extra sessions, despite of taking more effort, more training hours from this side we did. So one is, at every stage we will be doing all our bit, everything from our side to ensure you are up to the industry standards marked. Of course the effort has to come from your side. Now to show this commitment that we are doing from your side, you also have to be equally committed from your side. After doing your course, after completing your project work, etc., after completing your PRP, if you do not get placed 6 months post PRP also, we will be refunding 50% of the course fee, right? Why do we put this so confidently? Because we have been doing this for over last 10, 12 years. Students who are building these skills, right, updating themselves, working on the feedback, working on the feedback during PRP, etc., more than 90% of them, in fact more than 95% of them, do get placed and placed very well, whether someone was looking as career transition or someone was looking to start the career. So we are very confident, once you complete, follow this journey, do your certification, we have no problems in committing to this, that after that, even in 6 months you do not get placed, 50% of your fee will be refunded. And of course, based on your course to course, we are not talking about, let's say, 2 lakh rupees salary, 1 lakh rupees salary, 1.5 lakh rupees salary. We are also putting some numbers behind it. For data science and AI skills, we know an average 7 lakhs per annum is what students are able to get. For basic analyst, business analyst skills, 4 lakhs. For again data analyst with AI skills, etc., 7 lakhs, and so on. For executive certification, which is generally suggested to students with 2 years of work ex, 10 lakh rupees per annum. If you're already working, let's say you're already working at the package of 6 lakh rupees, right? Uh, what we are talking about is at least 20% hike. So your salary will increase at least to 7.2 lakhs rupees, just in hypothetical case. Otherwise, again, that job guarantee 50% fee refund thing is applicable. So again, you have to do your part. We are fully committed to do our part, even if it means adding few some new modules which were not originally what you paid for, where we have already invested time with you. We will be doing all that bit to ensure the outcome is a good career progression for which you enroll into these courses. Is this part clear? Do you understand what we meant by job guarantee or the 50%? Deepak, there are some extra modules specially related to AI in executive certification, right? But again, we only recommend executive certification to selected students. It will depend whether you have some work experience. We feel for this, it will be good course for you. Otherwise, we will recommend one of these learning tracks for you. But the main difference between this is executive certification has some additional AI related modules. Okay, good enough. Let's see more questions. Sabrish, let's also talk about the internship thing. If you can talk about the internship model we have introduced, that would be helpful.
Okay. So, guys, from the beginning of the session, there is a lot of questions and details about the internship, how it works, and what are the pros and cons, right? So, as Sumit was talking about the programs, if you see in the slide, it takes minimum 6 months, irrespective of whichever program that you're taking, because analytics and data science is a completely uh, a practical subject, right? There are a lot of case studies and assignments involved. So many, because I interact with many students. So the first question comes is, I have 1 month time, I have 2 month time. Can I do this? My honest answer is, from my last 8, 9, 10 years of experience, I don't see anyone completing a program within 1 or 2 months and get a job, right? Because let's be honest, in data science and analytics, interviews are completely different from what you see in your regular uh, jobs, right? No matter what background, which background you come from, where you have studied and whatnot, people go with hands-on experience, right? What you have, what projects you have worked. Based on that, there will be a small data set given, right? And you will be asked to solve a business problem. So for that, you need a lot of hands-on experience. That is what we emphasize in all our programs. So there is a question on how the internship works. Now, if you see, 80% of our uh, course is more of assignments, case studies. In fact, right after first week or even after second week, you will start receiving many projects and assignments, right? This is nothing but working on, though you're working on a dummy data set, what I would say is you will be working on mask data set where analyst or a data scientist would have been working on their day-to-day life. So by working on these projects and assignments, what is happening? You are getting that same uh, experience, or for that matter, exposure, what a data analyst would have had in their careers. So to make it very simple, so there is the question that I have worked with so and so company for 1 year. Now I'm already a fresher where I have already have a 3 years gap, 2 years gap. Now you're telling me your course will take 6 to 8 months. For example, if somebody is going for an executive certification, which will go on for minimum 1 to 1.5 year. Now, how do I fill this gap? Right? So for to answer all this question and to probably logically uh, do a win-win situation, what we do is we see students how much effort they've given, how much of what is their attendance in our program, and how much have they really attempted on the case studies and stuff. Based on this, we directly give you a internship certificate for all the people who have given their best, right? And also from the day you have joined this program, and pretty much the day you have completed all the modules as per the course structure, we'll be able to give you a internship certificate based on what you have worked. For example, let's say our flagship program today is data analytics and AI, which we also call as advanced certification in data analytics and AI, where we cover Excel, SQL, Power BI, and we start with base Python, basic statistics, move towards agentic AI, etc. Right? So it's a long journey. So let's say you have started the program and you completed your assignments regularly on Excel, SQL, and Power BI, and probably in between, because we see many students who take our program and update it there in their resume and their LinkedIn profiles, they in fact start getting interview opportunities, not from us, but directly they start getting interview opportunities. And we see many of the students get through as well. So suddenly I see students not coming to the program. When we check with them, they say, hey, you know what? I completed Excel, SQL, Power BI, and your generative AI modules, and I got through with this company. Right. So these things happen. So based on what you have completed, let's say you have completed Excel, SQL, and Power BI, and you submitted the assignments, we can give you that internship certificate that yes, this person so and so has worked on so and so assignments, which will cover up as an internship certificate and which can help you in placements as well. So this is why I didn't answer that question when you guys were asking about internship certificates and stuff. This is how we practically do comparing to any other institutes, and which will probably help you in placements. I'll be able to talk more. My team also will be able to talk more about it once we connect with you after this call. But yes, overall, this is how we uh, look on the internship and how the internship certificates will work. Great. Yes, Sumit, you're available?
Yes, Avrish, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So from our side, I think we have covered we what wanted to talk about. Of course, happy to answer more questions, whether we're talking about the case study on the cloud or anything else we have discussed so far. Uh, so there is one question from Himani. Sabrish, not sure if we have answered it. Himani, no, non-STEM background can pursue data science, but we need more details. So, some, as I said, by STEM, we may not need directly engineering, but it could be even uh, MSc, stats, right? These kind of background. So, if you could connect one to one, we can suggest whether you can go for that course or not. But as I said, the main difference between analytics and data science courses now machine learning. And for a very few candidates, we see machine learning as a skill which will be helpful in 2026 purely from hiring point of view. So at the moment, for non-STEM background, in more than 90% of the cases, it makes sense to go with data analytics and AI combination rather than data science, right? Again, to reiterate, the goal is same. What goal you have, we have the same goal, that you build skills, you make a progression in career, get a good job or change to a better job, etc. So do not get swayed by terms data science or data analytics. Let's evaluate what we are seeing in terms of hiring and for what kind of profiles. So connect with us. We'll be happy to make that uh, informed decision or help you to make that informed decision. Because lot of times we see uh, people just want to do data science certification without really understanding what helps, what doesn't help, and which skill is suitable based on your profile so far. Okay, so one last thing which we very often hear, uh, job gap, experience gap, tech background, non-tech background. So There are number of cases we have in past, right? For example, Nikunj came from academic background. He was an assistant professor, I think, and then switched to EXL. Another candidate with data analyst got a high package of about 14 lakh rupees. Another candidate, I think Sandeep, came from a mechanical engineering background, basically non-computer science background. After switching, he got a hike of 160%.
So with Sandeep is from commerce.
Commerce. Sandeep is from commerce background, BCom background. Okay, great. Uh, then Archish is in fact from arts background. So Archish was our student first in 2015, 16, right? Then he again joined our course for another course and upskilling around machine learning around 2019, 20, right? Then again he did course with us later on in AI. So he comes from BA background, Bachelor of Arts in honors. In fact, given his dedication and all that, he has also done some trainings for us by now, right? The point I'm sharing it, commerce, BA honors, etc., doesn't matter. If you have been diligent with your approach, committed from your side, right? These career transitions we have seen happening multiple times. Another example, Vandana, she took a career break owing to some family responsibilities post wedding, or I'm not very sure, wedding or maternity, but she again switched to IDFC Bank, I think. Yeah, IDFC First Bank, about 12 lakh rupees package at that time. Another candidate, mechanical engineering background, no computer science, nothing, right? Switch to business analyst about at 50% high. So of course, all this is available on our website, YouTube channels with their LinkedIn profiles. But the reason I'm sharing, just to underline, different backgrounds, different challenges, but if approached correctly with the correct course and guidance, there are a lot of different roles which will work for you in industry and will be rewarding roles over the years. Right. Okay. So, guys, this is from my side. I think we are well much over the time. Uh, yeah. So let's stop now, but we'll be connected for few more minutes. If you